There's a particular kind of sleep you get when you share a bed with someone long enough. You learn their movements. You know the difference between a dream twitch and a shift for comfort. You stop waking up fully when they roll over. Your body recognises theirs without thinking. That's why I woke up. Not because of noise, because of movement that didn't belong. It was subtle at first, just the mattress dipping slightly, closer than it should have. The kind of movement that makes your body stir before your mind does. I opened my eyes halfway. The room was dark, but not unfamiliar. The soft outline of the wardrobe, the faint glow from the street light slipping through the curtains. My husband was sitting on the edge of the bed, his back slightly hunched. I remember thinking he must be uncomfortable. He was scratching his hand, slowly, methodically, like the itch was deep and wouldn't go away. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice thick with sleep. "Is your hand itchy?" He didn't answer. That caught my attention more than the scratching. I pushed myself up a little, enough to see his face in profile. He looked wrong, not injured, not distorted, just empty. His skin looked pale in the dim light, almost grey. His eyes were open, but unfocused, like he wasn't looking at anything in particular. The air in the room felt heavier, like the silence had weight. I said his name again. No response. I was about to reach out when something made me turn my head. My husband was still lying beside me, asleep. His back was turned toward me, his breathing steady, familiar. And his hand, his right hand, was resting between us, being scratched. The man sitting on the edge of the bed wasn't scratching his own hand. He was holding my husband's hand with both of his. The resemblance was perfect. Same hair, same shoulders, same posture. Even the way his fingers curved as he worked at the skin was identical to the way my husband absent-mindedly scratches when he's half asleep. But there were two of them, one asleep, one sitting between us. I froze. My mind tried desperately to make sense of it. Sleep paralysis, a dream, my eyes misreading shadows, but I could move, I could breathe, I could feel the mattress pressed down between us, the weight of someone who should not have been there. The scratching continued, slow, careful, almost attentive. That's when I noticed my husband's hand. It was red, angry red, like the skin had been rubbed too hard for too long. Small raised bumps were already forming, spreading across the back of his hand and wrist. I watched, unable to look away, as the other man adjusted his grip and scratched a little harder. Not violently, precisely, like he was trying to reach something underneath. I didn't scream. I don't know why. Maybe because screaming would have made it real in a way I wasn't ready for. Maybe because some part of me believed that acknowledging him too loudly would make things worse. Instead, I whispered my husband's name. The man sitting between us tilted his head slightly, not toward me, toward my husband. The scratching stopped. For a moment, I thought he was going to speak. Instead, he loosened his grip and gently placed my husband's hand back on the mattress. He straightened, movements smooth and unhurried, like he wasn't concerned about being seen. Then he looked at me. His face was my husband's face, but the expression wasn't. There was no emotion there, no confusion, no recognition, just observation, like I was a variable he hadn't accounted for. That was when I jumped. I don't remember deciding to. I just reacted. I pulled my legs up and rolled off the bed, hitting the floor hard enough to knock the breath out of me. The sound finally woke my husband. He sat up, disoriented. "What's wrong?" I scrambled backward, eyes locked on the space between us. The man was already fading, not disappearing abruptly, not vanishing dramatically. He thinned, like smoke pulled apart by air. His outline softened, unravelling upward until there was nothing left but the impression of where he had been. The mattress slowly lifted where his weight had been. My husband swung his legs over the bed, concern replacing sleepiness as he looked at me on the floor. "Are you hurt?" he asked. I couldn't answer. I stared at his hand. He followed my gaze. His skin was inflamed, the rash spreading rapidly now, raised and raw like it had been scratched too long without relief. "What the hell?" he said, turning it over. "It burns." I helped him to the bathroom, turned on the light. The rash looked worse under brightness. Angry. Recent. We stood there together, both awake now, both unsettled for different reasons. He asked me what happened. I told him I'd had a bad dream. That was the first lie. The doctor the next day said it looked like contact dermatitis. Maybe an allergic reaction. Maybe stress. He prescribed cream and told my husband to avoid scratching. The rash faded over the next few days, but the itch didn't. My husband started waking at night, rubbing his hand against the sheets without realising it. Sometimes scratching until the skin broke, sometimes murmuring under his breath. I didn't ask what he was saying. A week later, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The skin on his hand was healing, but the pattern of the rash, the shape of the redness, the placement of the bumps, looked deliberate, like fingerprints, 2 hands worth, wrapped around his. I never told him what I saw that night. I don't know if the man was helping him. I don't know if he caused the rash or was trying to remove something else. What I do know is this. Some nights, when the room is quiet and my husband shifts in his sleep, I feel the mattress dip between us, just slightly, and I never reach for his hand anymore, because I'm not always sure which one would hold it back.